All right, guys. Well, welcome back for more signposts. Today, we are going to cover two. We're going to do aha moments and tough questions. And you know what? Maybe we'll do words of the wiser as well. I think we'll cover three. Okay. So as we look at this, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to watch a video that explains to us what an aha moment is. So let's start there. Aha moments. So this is when the person is like, oh, now it all makes sense. Or you're reading it and you're like, aha, I got it now. So when you're reading and a character realizes, understands, or finally figures something out, that is an aha moment where they might just go, aha. So we need to stop and note it when we see these, right? And then we need to ask ourselves, how might this change things? This is our anchor question for these. How might this change things? If the character figured out some sort of a problem, then you probably learned a little bit more about the conflict. So this is developing conflict in a story. If the character understood a life lesson, then maybe we're looking at the theme. The theme is the main idea or the underlying meaning of a story that sometimes is directly stated, but sometimes it's not, and you have to figure it out. So aha moments keep building your reading powers by noticing when a character finally figures out or understands something in the story. And always ask yourself, how might this change things moving forward? Remember that authors put everything into their books on purpose. So by reading closely for these signposts, you learn more about the characters, the plot, and even the bigger ideas like the theme, which you're going to be doing a lot of analyzing this year. So as you read your books, try to notice the moments when a character realizes, understands, or figures something out. Remember to ask yourself, how might this change things? Because that's our anchor question for an aha moment. So how might this change things? That is our anchor question. And we have another little clip here from Tangled. And you are going to watch this and you are looking for a moment when she has an aha moment. Here we go.
It wasn't us. It was the old lady.
Old lady?
Wait. No! Wait! You don't understand! She's in trouble! Wait!
Rapunzel? Rapunzel, what's going on up there? Are you all right?
I'm a lost princess.
Please speak up, Rapunzel. You know how I hate the mumbling.
I am the lost princess, aren't I? Did I mumble, Mother? Or should I even call you that?
Rapunzel, do you even hear yourself? Why would you ask such a ridiculous question?
It was you! It was all you!
Everything I did was to protect you. Rapunzel.
I've spent my entire life hiding from people who would use me for my power.
Rapunzel!
When I should have been hiding from you.
Where will you go? He won't be there for you.
What did you do to him?
That criminal is to be hanged for his crimes. No, it's all right. Listen to me. All of this is as it should be.
No! You were wrong about the world. And you were wrong about me. And I will never let you use my hair again!
You want me to be the bad guy? Fine. Now I'm the bad guy.
All right. So, what was the aha moment that Rapunzel had in this short clip? Was she figuring out a problem or learning a life lesson here? It should help you understand the conflict better. In this one, she was actually figuring out a problem, and you should understand the conflict a little bit better based on that. So, how did that realization that she had give clarity to her? What was the aha moment, and how might this change things? That's your anchor question. How might this change things? So now you're going to look for an aha moment in this passage. Ready? Whitney's face lit up when she saw me climb aboard the bus. Right here, Lexi, you can sit beside me. I'll even give you the window seat. I raised my eyebrows in surprise. Okay, I said as I plopped down in the seat beside Whitney. I had been dreading this new 45-minute bus ride ever since my parents announced that we would be moving to an acreage outside of town. I knew Whitney rode this bus, but she and I have never been the best of friends. We just didn't have that much in common. Whitney had been wearing makeup and flirting with boys since she was 8 years old. I, on the other hand, had no interest in covering my face in a rainbow of colors. Furthermore, I only ever talked to boys about our favorite sports teams, and I was a bit uncomfortable even doing that. Hey, I have a question about math, Lex. Do you mind helping me? She asked. No, of course not, I answered. She peeked inside her backpack. Oh, I guess I forgot my math book at school. Do you have yours? I unzipped my backpack and dug out my math book, opening to our assignment. Which part did you need help with? Actually, I think I can figure it out. Maybe I'll just copy down your answers, and then when I'm doing my assignment later, I can check my answers against yours just to make sure they're correct. I sat there, dumbfounded, as she began to scribble the answers on a sheet of paper. How could I be so stupid? Whitney hadn't been looking for a bus buddy. She only wanted to copy my answers. When she was finished, she thanked me and slid into an open seat beside Jeremy. What was her aha moment? And how might this change things? So I want you to find a direct line of text that shows us the aha moment and write that quotation down, and then answer our anchor question, how might this change things? Now we're going to deal with tough questions. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to watch a video about tough questions and see what they are. The anchor question that goes with the tough question is, what does this question make me wonder about? Tough questions. Questions like, how will I ever go on? This is when you're reading a book and the character asks a really difficult question. Like, what should I do? Or am I brave enough to stand up for myself? Or why did he break my heart? How will I ever get over this? we need to stop and note it, and then ask ourselves, what does this question make me wonder about? The answers will help you understand the internal conflicts the characters are going through. Remember, the internal conflict is a mental or emotional struggle that occurs within a character, the deep problems that worry a character. So, tough questions. Sharpen your reading skills by paying attention when a character asks a really difficult question during a story. And be sure to ask yourself, what does this question make me wonder about? Because authors put everything in their books on purpose. So by reading closely, when we notice a signpost, we can get better at the heart of what the author is trying to help us understand. So again, the anchor question for a tough question is, what does this make me wonder about? Now, we're going to watch this short clip, and as you're watching this short clip, I want you to notice when the character asks a tough question. All right, so what was the tough question in there? There were no words, but what was it? What do you think could have come from this story? We were looking for some deep reasoning or an event that might have the character question life, morals, values, or choices. So it was just him. So what was it? What event happened that would have maybe made him consider life in a different way? What was the tough question that you could have seen in that video? And then I want you to answer the anchor question is, what does that question make you wonder about? Here's a passage that I'm going to read to you, and I want you to listen for the tough question. When you hear the tough question, you're going to jot it down, and then you're going to answer our anchor question, which is, what does this question make me wonder about? Kayla felt a twinge of regret as she walked past the lunch table where Sadie and Olivia were sitting. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw them giggling about something. She longed to know what was so funny, but she walked on. Last year, she had always eaten lunch with Sadie and Olivia, but this year things were different. She had joined the volleyball team and was suddenly accepted into a new circle of friends, a more popular group of girls. She set down her lunch tray and listened to Kristen, Sophie, and Carly discuss their slumber party plans for upcoming Friday. I wish I could invite you, Kayla, but my mom said I could only have 2 friends spend the night, and, well, you know. Sophie's voice trailed off. Kayla looked down at her lunch tray and nodded. Yes, I know exactly what the situation is, she thought to herself. I'm on the outside fringe of this group. I'll never be a part of their inner circle. Kayla glanced longingly at Sadie's and Olivia's table. Now they were hunched over a book, looking at something. A mountain of questions bubbled up in Kayla, all at once. What was I thinking when I abandoned Sadie and Olivia to join this popular group? Was it really as great as I thought it would be to hang out with these girls? Would Sadie and Olivia welcome me back to their group? If they did, would it be the same as it always was, or would it be different? Would I be on the outside fringe of that group too? Kayla grimaced. She wished she had a time turner like the one Hermione used in the second Harry Potter book. She would love to go back and reverse some of the decisions that she made at the beginning of the school year. So, where's this tough question in this passage? And then, after you jot down the tough question, I want you to answer the anchor question. What does this question make me wonder about? Finally, we're going to do some words of the wiser. What's the life lesson and how might this affect the character? That's what you're going to learn with a life lesson. Life lesson is a theme. So this one is directly helping us identify the theme in a book or text. Let's watch the video. So when you're reading your book and a character, usually an older and wiser one, takes the protagonist aside and offers some advice, we need to stop and note it. And then ask yourself, what is the lesson that's being offered and how might it affect the protagonist throughout the story? If the lesson you see, then the theme you have found. Remember, theme is defined as a main idea or an underlying meaning of a literary work, which can be stated directly or indirectly. It's the life lesson that we learn. So, words of the wiser. Keep flexing your reading muscles by noticing when advice is given to your protagonist in a book and then figuring out why it's part of the story. Remember that authors put everything in their books on purpose. So by reading closely, when we notice the signposts, we can better get at the heart of what the author is really trying to help us understand. As you read your books, try to notice the moments when a character gives advice to your protagonist. Remember to ask yourself, what is the lesson being taught to the protagonist and how might it affect them in the story? So now that you know what a Words of the Wiser signpost is, let's see if we can figure that out in this Lion King clip.
What was that? The weather. Very peculiar, don't you think?
Yeah. Looks like the winds are changing.
Change is good.
Yeah, but it's not easy. I know what I have to do, but going back means I'll have to face my past. I've been running from it for so long. Ow! Jeez, what was that for?
It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. You see? So what are you going to do?
First, I'm gonna take your stick.
No, not a stick. Hey, where are you going?
I'm going back!
Good! Go on! Get out of here!
All right, so take a minute. What was the Words of the Wiser in that clip? And then, after you identify it, answer the anchor question. What is the life lesson, and how might this affect the character in the future? Now let's read this passage and see if we can find the Words of the Wiser in this passage. Brenda heard a knock on her door. Go away. Her words were muffled because her face was buried in a pillow. Brenda heard the doorknob turn and someone stepped into the room. It's just me, said a voice that belonged to her older sister, Alicia. Oh, said Brenda, sitting up on her bed, wiping a hair from her tear-stained face. I bet you're pretty bummed about Dad's transfer, Alicia said sympathetically. Brenda nodded. I can't believe we're moving to the tiny town of Sibley, population 2,000, she grumbled. I just know I'm not going to fit in there, that everyone is already going to have friends. There's going to be no place for me to fit in. Brenda, you'll fit in fine, Alicia insisted. You're friendly, smart, and fun to be around. Brenda rolled her eyes. You probably don't even remember when we moved here to Omaha, because you weren't even in preschool yet. But I was in 6th grade, and I had to transition from a small school into a gigantic middle school. I was like a fish out of water. That's supposed to make me feel better about moving? Brenda asked. I'm trying to point out to you that you're actually fortunate. You get to go from a big school to a small school, and it's going to be great for you. You're a talented athlete in every sport, and that's going to make it so much easier for you. The girls in Sibley will be thrilled to have you join their teams. Besides that, you make friends just by participating in sports. Hasn't that always been the case in the past? Alicia reasoned. Yeah, Brenda conceded. I guess I see your point. I have made new friends every single time I've joined a new team. Now, keep your chin up and be confident, Alicia ordered her sister. So, what was the line from the text that contains the Words of the Wiser? And then after you give me that quotation, I want you to tell me, what is the life lesson and how might this affect the character in the future?